Go ahead. Start again.
Write the answer over again?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you ask the question?
Dad, I think what I want you to do is to talk to the young kids in China about what it meant to be one of the leaders of the whole hippie movement in California back in the 1960s.
Well, it was a great time. And the fact that you could do anything in California, still can for that matter. You can do anything anywhere in the world if you want to. But the fact is that we were working very hard to get a statement out that said this is different, this is unusual, this is for us. And the stickies just came naturally.
All right, Dad, so you were talking about driving down the freeway in the 60s.
Yeah, we were going down the freeway in the 60s and we were passed by 3 cars that were hand painted. They were just little VWs and they were painted with flowers on them. And I told my wife then, I said to her that there must be a better way of doing that art because it was really terrible. So I said, why don't we do decals? And we can do just pressure sensitive decals and stick them on and make $1 million. Well, I thought I was about 10 million off on that guess, but it turned out we did very well with that. But the whole point was we did something about it. And that's the difference, I think, between a lot of big ideas and what's going on now. Basically,
What about the idea of the freedom of the flower? What did that represent?
Well, it was just a perfect element. All the hippies in those days were painting flowers just because they were a simple thing to do. I find my hand going and talking like this now.
Your hand's not even on it.
And it's back here that it's a simple statement and painted. When they were doing them on the cars, they were doing them spontaneously and just painting them with a brush. And I just decided that there's nothing wrong with going with a flower idea because it was a simple thing to do and a stereotype thing. At which point I suggested to my wife that we go do something about this one. So we got together with a couple of friends of mine who, after we got the idea going, we set up a garage setup where we just manufactured the flowers. We would draw them and paint them and color them and then cut them out, stick them on things, which was very primitive. That drew in from that beginning, that simple idea went to 10 million flowers a year for many years. So it was a big idea and a good idea, but the point is we did something about it and we didn't even stop to think about what the consequences of it were. Therefore we needed to do it and we did it. And that's the point I'm going to make today. If you get a good idea, go ahead and do it. And just don't even stop to think if it's a good or a bad idea. Do it and go for it. That's the thing you have to get past. Don't overanalyze what you're doing. That's the key to what we're going to talk about today. Let's just talk about the fact that if you want to get a good idea, get one and then don't analyze it too carefully. Because this is important to me. We got it done, and we got the ball done. It was a simple idea, and it still took about 27 people by the time we got going to get anyone manufactured and done and shipped and billed for and paid for. So it was a business we started based around the little idea of a flower, stick-on flower, which then simply became overnight success. Overnight success took about 1.5 years in this country to get it all around the country. Therefore, that was a big part of the point I'd have to make. You can't be too impatient if you're going to have to start with your idea from scratch. And you can't expect to have any money coming in. If money is a factor you're interested in, which I was at that time. I had 4 kids, and I had to have something to bring in some money. So that was my attempt to make a living. I made a very good one for several years. So I was very happy to have done it. Therefore, the point I want to leave with you in the beginning is to get a good idea for something, go ahead and try it. try it in a small way. If it takes off, go for it. And you don't have to have a lot of money to do it. You don't have to have any money, actually, if you're clever enough. And that's what I did. I got all of this stuff done, generally for no money, and got it going and got it sold. Became a company and did this for about 20 years. So it was a good start, and it was a good thing to think about.
Was it important for you to do something that had a positive feel, something that was positive
Oh, yeah.
in society?
I think it was a very important part, because it's among other things, I thought it was positive just to have a nice, neat flower. Suppose all the crummy ones that were painted on all the cars. But that's not the kind of positivity you're thinking about. But I thought it was a very positive idea to have the flowers. They were easy to stick on anything. They look good on garbage cans, look good on boxes, shipping boxes. They look good anywhere you went. So that was an important part of the project.
What about the idea of the hippie, the peace, love, the whole anti-war movement back for the Vietnam War? Was there anything about that interested you?
Yeah, well, it was because I didn't want to go back into the service, so I was interested in that. But the fact was that that was a residual end of it. It was not a. It was